How's it going, guys? Welcome to Minimize Media. I'm your host, James, and welcome to 2021 and a very happy new year to you guys. Now, I don't want this video to be a downer for obvious reasons, but let's address the elephant in the room. This year has been completely crap. It's been so bad with what's been going on in the world. Again, I'm not going to say it because YouTube doesn't like it when you mention it specifically, if you know what I'm saying. It's been a terrible year for literally millions of people around this world. I mean, the effect it's had on every aspect of normal life is crazy. I don't want to harp on too much because if you're watching this, you've probably seen a million videos that say like, oh, here's a year roundup, blah blah blah, doing all that kind of stuff and talking about the whole lockdown and blah blah blah. All I can do is give you what's happened this year from my perspective. So that's what I'm going to do, I suppose. First of all, I want to say I hope you guys are doing okay. I think that's the most important thing, is if everyone's okay up here. I think that's a very important thing that we need to focus on from this year, because anyone who hasn't specifically caught this virus, the other effect, the other side of the coin is that I know for us in the UK, we've been under 2 major lockdowns, and we're under some sort of weird tier system that the government, let's be honest, have no flipping clue what they're doing. They're sort of riding by the seat of their pants, and man, it really shows. So we're all just sort of living day to day, finding out what we're going to do. Can we go to these shops, or can we socialise with our families and friends? Can we see our grandparents? And and life has just come to a massive halt. I mean, one of the things that I was heavily into as of 2019, and 2019 was I sort of started playing Dungeons and Dragons with my friends, like properly. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Critical Role, which is the Dungeons and Dragons game that a bunch of voice actors play together. Voice actors like Marisha Ray, Matt Mercer, Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie in The Last of Us. And big names, but they get together and they play a Dungeons and Dragons game, and I got introduced to that from a friend, and sort of one friend said that he was a dungeon master, and it all fell into place, and we ended up playing this massive, like, 1.5-year game of Dungeons and Dragons, and it was so great. I was like, I can't thank those guys enough for giving me such an amazing experience. And if you've never played Dungeons & Dragons before, oh my god, I highly recommend that you do. I mean, it's tabletop, it's roleplay and stuff like that, and there are rules and there is gameplay and you are trying to survive, but the sheer fun of getting together with your friends and playing this out of this world character that you've made up in your head, that you've made this backstory for, that has all these cool unique powers that you've chosen, is honestly better than any video game that I've ever played in my life. Controversial. I mean, I've played a lot of video games. I own a video game channel here on YouTube, but playing Dungeons & Dragons is honestly one of the greatest experiences of my life, and I don't say that lightly. Like, I have very fond memories of playing that game, and thank you to all my friends for showing me that. Thank you to my friend Josh, like, personally, for actually introducing me to the world of Dungeons and Dragons and introducing me to Critical Role and all that good stuff. So if I can recommend anything, then get into D&D, because it's top. Anyway, with the point I was making is that we were in the massive throes of this huge campaign, and all of a sudden just the brakes were hit and we had to stop playing for months and months, and it felt so horrible. It's not just the game, it's the meeting with my friends, it's the socializing, it's good for you. It's good for you mentally to meet your friends and do something fun and have that sort of in your life. And for me, it just stone cold stop dead. And I'm kind of using that as an example for things that people have done, things that people do. What am I trying to say? What I'm saying is that's my example of my world coming to a halt. And I know for a lot of people in this, in my country certainly, and I know it's big all over the world, but I can only speak from my personal experience. A lot of people's routines and things they did with their lives and things they'd enjoyed and things that got them through a work week and things like that halted completely, including their work itself. I got a lot of musicians that they're climbing the walls because they can't gig and they can't play shows and they can't record albums. And I got a lot of engineers and lighting technicians and tour managers and band managers and promoters and stuff absolutely chewing their fingernails because they just don't have any work right now, and it's so scary. And there's a big furlough system that's been implemented by the government, but again, it all seems a bit kind of slapdash, like, oh, here's a bunch of money, I hope that helps. And that's how it feels, and I know for a lot of my friends that's how it feels, and they don't know if they're entitled to it. And life has sucked this year for many reasons. I know personally for me, and again, I'm using myself as a reference for I'm not just saying, oh, woe is me. I'm saying from my perspective, I know this happened to me, so I know this has potentially happened to you or to anyone in this country. But for me, my mental health plummeted hugely. I work in retail, so I was supposed to be working. I didn't get furloughed. Excuse me. I was supposed to be working right through this thing. And at the beginning, I didn't know whether I was entitled to be off or not, because I've got certain lung issues, asthmatic issues, and stomach issues, and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't know if I should be self-isolating or whatever. I didn't know any of that. So I was in a panic mode, and then life stopped. I stopped seeing my friends. I wasn't allowed to see my family, my brothers and my sister and my brothers. I wasn't allowed to see them. And it hit me hard. Like, I felt like life had just stopped, and I got to that point where I was just saying, like, what's the point in waking up every day, you know? And that's what I did. I woke up every day. I didn't want to wake up. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't do anything, and I had about 3-4 months off work. Like, trying to see a doctor. I've been on a mental health waiting list for about 5 months, which, take that for however you want it. I'm not gonna badmouth any mental health industry in our country. I'll reserve that judgment for away from the camera. And yeah, I sat in my room. I tried to, and I suppose one of the few things getting me through this is this here, my channel. Trying to stay focused and record videos, play games, and a lot of the time I was not up to it. And the days I was up to it, I recorded huge batches because I knew I was going to get hit and I wasn't going to be able to do it for the next couple of days because I was just in a bad place. I think what I'm trying to say is, if you've been in this similar place this year, then I get it. I understand. I've been there. I am there to a certain extent. I've ended up going back to work since, but it's been tough. I'm not the same person I was. I'm a bit rattly. I'm a bit caged off. So I understand. If you're feeling the same way, if you're feeling isolated and weird, and you're in this sort of like twilight zone of a world that we're living in right now. So I just want you guys, if you feel the same way, I just want you to know that you are not on your own. I feel exactly the same way as you do. It all just feels it feels weird and alien, and it still does right now. And I know this video is going to age poorly, as hopefully we get over this big hurdle that the world is in, which looks like it's not too far off. Hopefully. I'm not a praying man, so I don't know why I did that. But I just want you to guys, basically what I want to say is I hope you guys are keeping well. Keep yourself stimulated, keep yourself active, doing something. Not active as in going out walking and all that stuff. I don't mean that. I mean mentally active. Do something. Find a project. Speak on the phone to people. Communicate with people. Do something like that, because I didn't, and it hurt me this year. So, yeah, that's that. Basically, that's what I want to say for this portion of the video. Is that's what happened to me this year, and I really hope that you guys have managed to pull through, and I hope we can get on the other side stronger. It's what I'm basically trying to say, is I hope we get through this and things can go back to normal for us. Cool, good, cool. That's out of the way now. Let's talk about some good stuff, some positive stuff, some stuff that helped us get through this year, helped me get through this year. I think most importantly, I'm in a game channel right now, so I want to talk about some of the games that I've played this year. I started off the year, hang on, I've got a little notes thing down here. I ended the year playing Devil May Cry, which was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that. I've recently watched my brother play Devil May Cry 5, and oh man, that game looks just so much fun. But one of the first games that I ended up playing this year was Earthworm Jim for the Sega Mega Drive or the Sega Genesis, depending on where you're from. And that was hard. It's a hard game. But I had a lot of fun playing it. It was really, really cool. Frustrating as all hell, but I managed to get through it. I actually did it. Even with a couple of technical issues with the videos, I still managed to do it. There are some big games that came out this year, but I want to talk about some of the other ones first and then save those to the end of this spiel. One of the other ones that I played was, I finally played my first horror game on the channel, which, if you're going to play horror, where's the first place to start? Silent Hill. So I played the original Silent Hill. Any of these games that I'm talking about, I will link in the description below, so if you want to check those out, I will leave a link to the first video of each playlist underneath, so you can go from there and check out the rest of the playlist. But they are all in playlists for you. One of my favourite games of all time, it's probably in my top 5, is Silent Hill 2, because I don't believe any horror game has ever come close to being that good for me, being that atmospheric and creepy and dark and indulgent in evil, and so good. Great protagonist, great location, just great all over. And I didn't want to jump straight in with that game, so I played the first one, which I'd never played before, and it was a really, really awesome experience. Really, really great. I enjoyed that game. Not as good as the second one, but I didn't expect it to be. And I've since gone on to buy the third Silent Hill, which is great. And I've now got the first 3. I also want to get the room to complete the Japanese developed Silent Hill games. I think it was the first 4 that were Japanese developed. But Silent Hill 2, man, that's a game I am itching to play on this channel. Also a big one that I played this year, I played this one with my missus, Hannah. Again, description below if you want to check this out. We co-op played the first Lego Star Wars game, which is the prequel trilogy. And so fun to play a co-op game with the missus. I love it when the missus comes on the channel anyway, because it's always a different dynamic. It always feels really weird. It's nice to bounce off someone, and I don't know, it's just nice to share the experience of the channel with someone, and who better than my missus, who, is also my best friend. So, but we played Lego Star Wars this year, and that was super, super fun. What else did we play? I started very recently. I started playing Crash Bandicoot 2, the Crash Bandicoot 2 Cortex Strikes Back. That's what I was trying to say. Because I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison. Actually, as this video goes out, I'm currently through the remake in the Insane trilogy, because I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison. I wanted to play the original first, and then I wanted to play the remake, and see the differences, see how it feels, if it holds up, which one I ultimately prefer. And if I'm honest, I'm sort of leaning more towards the original, but I'll sum that up all at the end of my Crash 2 remake video. So description below if you want to check that out. I'm currently playing that one, so it'll be somewhere. It might be at the end of the video, or you know how to use a YouTube by now. It's been around for however long YouTube's been around. God, it's been around for so long now. But you know what you're doing. I also played Syphon Filter this year, which is really, really cool. Blast from the Past. That's one of my brother Lee's favourite games. Especially it was growing up. It was one of his favourite games. It was cool. It reminds me of him a lot. He is a lot better at it than I am. He's a lot better at games in general than I am. A lot of people are. If you've watched anything on this channel, you can tell that I am not amazing at games. I just enjoy them. But that was a really, really cool game. One of the big ones that I played this year was Metal Gear Solid. The original Metal Gear Solid. Oh, that is definitely in my top 5 favourite games of all time. Just an amazing experience, getting the controller moved by Psycho Mantis and fighting the Metal Gear at the end, and all the schmaltzy, over-the-top dialogue and the ridiculousness. I bloody love it. I want more of it. I love the first Metal Gear Solid. I love it for its strengths. I love it for its weaknesses. I am a massive fanboy of that game, and I do not apologise for that. And that was a super fun gameplay to watch. To play, sorry. The reason I say watch is because I was watching a playthrough of it. I was watching a YouTuber, and he stopped playing it after a certain time, and that really disappointed me, because the YouTuber I was watching play it, he had just bought the PlayStation 1 Mini, and he was playing it for that, and it was one of his favourite games, and he stopped playing it for reasons I'm not going to go into, because it's none of my business. But he is one of my all-time favourite YouTubers, and he is one of the reasons I do this channel. And he stopped playing it. It really disappointed me, because I was really enjoying it, and he kept criticising the graphics. He just kept nitpicking at it, and I didn't enjoy the playthrough, and I thought I could do it a bit more justice. Maybe not. I mean, he is much better at this than I am. But I played it, and I got right through to the end, and I loved every second of it, regardless of why I played it. It was a great experience. It's so nice to have these videos to look back on and go, yeah, I played Metal Gear Solid on my channel. It's really, really cool. Now, on to the big games that I played this year. First of all, which was a big surprise for literally everyone and anyone who's a fan of this franchise, I played Streets of Rage 4, and what an amazing experience that was. Like Streets of Rage 2, again, probably in my top 5 favourite games, and there were loads of screenshots and gameplay of Streets of Rage 4, like, for months and months and months, and there was no release date for so long, and it got to that point where it's like, is it going to be as good? Is it going to be faithful? Streets of Rage 3 is a little bit sort of, there are some good bits and there are some poo bits. Like, is it going to be more like Streets of Rage 3? And I started to get those little doubts right up until I played it. That first moment that I played it. Oh man, I am in love with Streets of Rage 4. First of all, it ignores Streets of Rage 3 pretty much completely and comes straight off the back of Streets of Rage 2. The character models, the music, the enemies, the sound effects, the graphics, the hand-drawn art style, the sound effects, the levels, the story. Oh my god, I love it so much. So much fun to play. Like, I could easily stop this video now and go and play Streets of Rage 4 and feel like I had a fulfilled afternoon. I've played 2 versions of that on the channel. I played it on my own, where I completed it on normal on my own. I think so. I've actually played 3 versions of it, but I don't think of the other version. The other version I played on Facebook, and it didn't do as well. Nobody saw it. Blah blah blah. But I played my own playthrough of it. But more importantly, is I played through co-op with my missus, and it was only the second day that we ever owned the game, so we were really rusty at it, and we didn't complete it initially until I played it for the channel. So the massive payoff that I got for that game and the reaction that me and my missus give on that video is 100% genuine, and it's so nice to see, it's so nice to watch. And I had a blast playing that game, and if you enjoy Streets of Rage, if you enjoy the originals, if you enjoy side-scrolling beat-em-ups in general, I cannot recommend that game enough. It is utterly brilliant, bit longer than the originals, which I love. It feels, it's like the originals probably take you about an hour, this one will probably take you about 2.5 hours, 3 hours to beat, and it's nice. It's got 12 levels, and I love the bit where the plane takes off and you're in the back of the plane. I love the when you first get to Y Island. I love going through the sewer. I just love it so much. I think that game is amazing. Moving on to a big one that came out this year, and I was debating whether I was ever going to play this on the channel or just play this in my own time, but I played it for the channel, and I'm really glad that I did. So the game in question is, if I did have a top 5 favourite games, this would be number 1. The game in question is the remake to Final Fantasy VII. I played that on the channel this year, and like I just said, I debated whether I was going to play it on the channel or play it in my own time. It's a newer game, so it doesn't really fit in with the channel's aesthetic, but at the same time it's based on an old game, and it is my favourite game, so I toyed whether to play it on the channel or not. And I'm really glad that I did, because it is one of my favourite series that I've done on the channel. And that game is everything I wanted it to be, plus 1,000 times extra. I loved the pants off the remake of the Final Fantasy VII of Final Fantasy VII. Like I say, it's a completely different game. Don't get me wrong. It's a whole new set of rules. It's not turn-based combat. It's a whole new thing. It's a whole new world. It's a whole new game. Cringe, but I absolutely loved it. I loved it so much. I loved the combat. I loved the mix of turn-based and menu-based, and what do you call it? Real-time combat-based. That's the words I want to use. I loved the story. I loved the voice acting. I loved the graphics. The graphics were great. There are flaws in the game. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's perfect by any means. The whole Sephiroth bit is kind of like, what's going on? Obviously, we need to have Sephiroth in the game, but he doesn't even turn up until technically after the bit that we're playing in this version of the game. I really hope they follow up and do a Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, but then they would probably need a Part 3 and a Part 4 because it's a massive game, the original. But I loved playing that. I loved it, and that's the first time I played it. Like, you watching me play it on this channel was the first time I played it, so all my reactions were 100% genuine, and it was great. Honestly great. Also, I managed to get, I pre-ordered it because I wanted the figure, and I got the Cloud Strife figure with the, I want to say Daytona or Dakota. I think it's the Daytona bike. Anyway, regardless, I did an unboxing video of that particular of the whole Final Fantasy Remake pre-order thing, and I unboxed the artwork of it. It's got an artwork book to it. It's got the game, obviously. It's got the steelbook. What else did it come with? The soundtrack, but most importantly, that massive Cloud figure. And oh, it's so good. It's like, you can't see it on the shelf here because it's a little bit out of shot. But I might take a picture of it and then show you where it is relative to me. But it takes pride of place right, like, up dead center of all my figures and all my collectibles behind me there. So great. Yeah, I'm very, very lucky to have had that this year. Yeah, we were always worried that it was not going to be like the original, and there was going to be stuff cut, and there was going to be blah, blah, blah. But man, it delivered. For me personally, anyway, it delivered. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And what's cool is it's so different from the original that I can go back and play the original, no problem. No problem. It feels like two different games. So I'll get the urge to play that one and the remake, which is great because now I have two games that I love with the same story, with completely different rules and everything. I don't know what I'm saying right now. I'm just fanboying over that, over the game. It was so great. And plus it contains my longest video on the channel, which is 2.5 hours. That very last episode. Whew, it's a long video. But yeah, so those are the two big ones. Streets of Rage 4 and Final Fantasy 7. Huge games for me. Huge games. And they were both awesome. And they both made, for me, great content that I enjoyed making. Keeping up with the positives, some really cool music came out this year. I am I don't know if I class myself as a metalhead. I love heavy metal music. That's like my favourite genre of music. But I don't pigeonhole myself into only loving heavy metal, if that makes sense. I love anything. I love like 90s dance music. I love hip hop. I love synthwave. I love everything from the Rolling Stones to the Red Hot Chili Peppers to Slipknot and The Prodigy and everything in between. So, but in terms of heavy music, some really cool offerings came out this year. First of all, I want to talk about Trivium's album, What the Dead Men Say. Wow, what a massive step in the right direction for that band. Trivium is one of my favourite bands of all time. They were sort of my first venture into heavy metal, like really heavy stuff. I was listening to Linkin Park and Limp Bizkit before then, but they were fast and hard and heavy and dark sounding. At least for what I was listening to at the time. Some people may disagree, and that's fine. But Trivium have been a band that have continued to evolve, and their latest album, I mean, it's definitely up there as one of their best. It's great production, great songs, and Matt Heafy's voice is fantastic on it. This album, the previous album, The Sin and the Sentence, his voice has come on so much. It's so great to hear. They're a band that keeps evolving, and they're a band that I just love. I always will love them. I have everything of theirs on CD. Do you actually buy CDs anymore? Go out and buy some CDs. But yeah, that was a great album. Another great album that came out this year was Lamb of God's self-titled one. If you like the more sort of heavier, screamy stuff, that was a really good album. A little bit back to formula for them. Their last album had some experimental stuff. It had a full song in it, which was clean vocals all the way through, and it was great. I love Randy Blythe's clean vocal sound. It was really great. I know a lot of people didn't like it. They were experimenting with stuff. They lost their drummer, Chris Adler, and they've decided to go back to formula and be a bit more pummeling, and it's just Lamb of God, and it's really good. Bit of a surprise for me to like this, because I never thought I would like this band in my life, but Post-Human Survival Horror by Bring Me the Horizon. Wow! No one, and I argue this right now on the 1st of January 2021, no one is doing heavy music like they are right now. They are setting the standard. Their album is diverse, it's different, it's electronic, it's heavy, it's screamy, it's melodic, it's got baby metal on it, and that's my favourite song on there, Kingslayer. It's Bring Me the Horizon and baby metal. What kind of world are we in where Bring Me the Horizon and baby metal can make a song together and it be one of my favourite songs of the year? I hated this band. I was not into them. I was a bit ignorant, a bit stupid. And Baby Metal are a pop metal band. They're a metal band with two Japanese pop female singers fronting it. And it just works. God damn it, it works. It's a great little... it's only an EP. I think it's only got 8 songs on it. There's a song with Youngblood on there called Obey. That's a really good song. But the song Parasite Eve, the music video, along with the lyrical content and the fact that Mick Gordon has done some production on it and added some synth sounds to it. If you don't know who Mick Gordon is, he's the guy that makes the new Doom soundtrack, so super cool, super heavy stuff. That's one of my favourite songs of the year, Parasite Eve by Bring Me the Horizon. Really heavy, great chorus, excellent middle section, atmosphere, great guitar, just all round great. If you're not a fan of the band, but you want to check something different out, just give it a try. Give it a try. It's different, but it's great, and I absolutely loved it. The big one for me, musically this year, was Ordinary Man by Ozzy Osbourne. I'm a massive Black Sabbath fan. You can see there's a Black Sabbath flag above me. I've kind of cut Ozzy's face off here. But they are my all-time favourite band, and Ozzy is my all-time favourite solo artist, if you like. So for him to bring out an album this late in his career, and for it to be that good, blows my mind. It blows my mind. I know a lot of people didn't like it, and it does have a song with Post Malone on it, so beware. But the song with Post Malone is still rocking. It's not like a hip-hop thing, if you're not into that kind of thing. It's if anything, the song is more of a tribute to Lemmy and Motorhead. But that album is outstanding. It's really, really great. It's got Slash on it. The drummer from the Chili Peppers plays on it. Chad Smith, one of my all-time favourite drummers. Duff McKagan from Guns N' Roses plays the bass on it. It's just great. It's just really good. And the song Ordinary Man, which is a duet of Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, and Sir Elton John, the Rocket Man. If you'd have said in the 70s that Ozzy and Elton John were going to make a song together, people would have laughed you out of the room. And yet here they are making a song this late into their career, talking about their past and how, like, none of them want to die an ordinary man. They wanted to make a mark on the world, but they've travelled many miles. They've seen like tears and they've seen smiles. It's such a great story. It's really heartfelt. It's a beautiful song, and Slash's guitar solo is the cherry on the cake. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. And it's a great, great album. I'm a huge, huge Ozzy Osbourne fan, and I was very lucky to see him at the Download Festival a couple of years ago. Played with Zakk Wylde on guitar. But great album. So good. And we've been lucky to have... I've needed good music this year, and Trivium, Lamb of God, Bring Me the Horizon, and The Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne, supplied that to me. They made my soundtrack for this year, and they got me through this year. One more thing I want to quickly talk about. It didn't come out this year, but I might have sort of fell in love and become completely obsessed with Persona 5. My brother was playing it when it was new a couple of years ago, or relatively new, and I didn't really think anything of it, but something caught my eye, and I was looking for a new game to sink my teeth into, away from the channel, something I could enjoy and play, something new, something up to date, because I play a lot of retro and older games on the channel. I use retro because I played PlayStation 2, and I suppose PlayStation 2 counts as retro nowadays, right? I don't know. Especially with the PlayStation 5 coming out now. PlayStation 2 seems like a million years ago. But anyway, I wanted a new game to get stuck into. So I took a chance, and I bought Persona 5. And I don't think obsessed quite covers it. As it stands right now, I am 86 hours into that game. It is a long-ass game. It's the best turn-based combat I've ever played. The story... It's a weird game. It's a weird game. To describe it sounds weird. Sounds super weird. It's a otherworldly, turn-based RPG combat game that is also a life sim. You play as a high school kid, and you have to balance your life with spending time with your friends and building your stats and going out for coffees and studying for homework and studying for exams, but also being there for your friends and it sounds horrible, but honestly it's amazing. And then there's this other world called the metaverse where you go into and you change the hearts of people with distorted views of the world, and you make them better people, and you make them confess their crimes through some of the best turn-based combat I have ever seen in my life, using big monsters called Persona to shoot magic at things. It's just so great. It's so great. I can't, like, it makes me giddy. It's stupid. I actually got a figure of that for Christmas, which I might put here as a picture, maybe. Is there a picture there? I don't know. But yeah, that is getting up there in my top 10 favourite games because of how completely obsessed with that game I am. And I'm so obsessed with it, I've decided to use a little bit of an internet video to tell random strangers how obsessed I am with that game. So take that for what you will. Sorry for boring your ear off if you don't like Persona. It's a weird game. It's not for everyone, but my god, it's for me. And that about covers it. Like, that's all the games I played on the channel this year. Most of the games I can remember, anyway. That's some of the music I was listening to this year. It's time to look to the future now. It's time to see where we want to go, and things aren't changing quite yet. So hang in there. You know? Find something to do. Keep your mind active. Stay strong, and we'll be fine. We'll get through this. Like, human society has got through worse. We had 2 major world wars, and we're still here. We're still together. We can still build bonds and friendships, and we can still make memories. We just need to get over this massive hurdle. And we get over it when we get over it. It's a thing that is going to happen when it happens. It's going to be gradual. It's going to be slow. But it will happen, and we will get back to normal, and we will sit with our friends and play Dungeons and Dragons, and we will go and see our grandparents. We will go out drinking and enjoy a normal New Year's Eve, and go out for lovely meals and not have to wear masks all day, and things will return, but we just need to hang in there, man. We need to be strong and just hang in there. As for the channel, I'm going strong with it. I do it every Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. A new video will be coming out. I have not missed a day. I have sometimes missed information and I have missed times, but I have uploaded every day for the past 2 years. Oh yeah, my channel turned 2 this year. I've been doing this for 2 years, as of November. So I've been consistent. I've uploaded at least 3 videos every single week without fail, and I plan on continuing doing that. And might as well fill you guys in now, as there's going to be a new playthrough coming on the channel this year, and it is in fact, well, I've said this a lot in this video, one of my all-time favourite games, The Legend of Zelda, the Ocarina of Time. That's my next big playthrough on the channel. I'm looking forward to it very much. When God of War or Crash Bandicoot comes to an end, I've also got another idea for a cool playthrough that I want to do on the channel, maybe in keeping with the horror theme, maybe. Stick around and you'll find out, I suppose. I suppose I want to end the video by saying thank you. Thank you to anyone who's commented on a video. I apologise if I don't get back to you quickly enough. I'm still working, so I'm normally at work for like 9 hours, and then when I get home, it's just the first thing I want to do is put my feet up and relax, and I don't jump on my phone immediately. I'm not very good at this whole social media thing. I like making the content. I'm not very good at the distribution of the content and all that kind of stuff, but I'm trying to get better at it. So I thank you for your patience. Thank you to anyone who's commented on any of the videos this year, give me any cool feedback and said that they've loved the game that I'm playing, and give me any advice and any recommendations or anything like that. Thank you so much to anyone who's commented on a video this year. Thank you to anyone who's liked one of my videos this year, or even just watched and checked out and enjoyed one of my videos. It takes a lot of time to make these videos, a lot of time. It's a big time-consuming thing, this channel. It takes a lot of effort, and I'm completely self-taught. Like, nothing of what I'm doing is I've not looked up in tutorials or anything like that. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants making this channel. So if it comes off as amateurish at times, it's probably because it is. And any support that I can get to help me get better at this would be great. Would I like to do this as a full-time job? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Some of my favourite people in the world are YouTubers. Some people who look up to, not just as YouTubers, but as people. Markiplier is a big one for me. Jacksepticeye is a huge influence on me and a huge influence on this channel, especially Jacksepticeye. I don't just love his channel and his videos and his content and the way that he acts. I also like them as people. I think they're good human beings, and I strive to be like that. I want to be a good person, and if anything comes of this channel, the one thing I want to do is give back somehow. So any advice I can get on making my channel go bigger or better, or any game recommendations you want to give me, or anything you want to do, if you want to leave a funny comment, or if you want to do anything, any support for this channel is massively appreciated. And anyone who has supported the channel this past 2 years, thank you so much for doing that. Like, I really, really appreciate it. Ploughing on into 2021, which is weird. Which, by the way, it is also my birthday today. Which is weird. I'm a New Year's Day baby. I am 33. I can tell because when I stand up, my bones ache. So yeah, I'm probably going to go off and have a birthday meal with the missus. Yeah, that's about it for this one. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end of this video. It was going to be a long one because it's a yearly wrap up. 2021, new games, cool games, bigger stuff, better things, music on the way, maybe, who knows? I keep saying that, I know, but I've got some cool stuff that I want to do, and I hope you come along on the ride with me. So have a safe, happy, and healthy 2021. Let's get through this horrible stuff together, and thank you so much for sticking with me, and always remember to take it easy.